Hi there, today's video is about wire hearts. We had some feedback from Joseph who wanted to know how to connect the hearts together so he could make a display out of them. So we're making the video especially for you. The original wire heart video can be found below in the description, along with the subscribe button if you want to see more of our videos. And we're going to look at 3 different ways in this video on how you can connect them together. We'll look at interlinking, which doesn't take any props, you don't need anything else except for once you've made your wire hearts. Then we'll look at jump rings, which you need. We'll show you how to make a jump ring so you can connect the hearts together with an extra loop. And then we'll look at clear nylon thread and how you can tie them together to make displays that way. So let's get going, and we're going to start with interlinking. So I've switched to a table view so you can see a bit more clearly what I'm doing with my hands, and I've got some hearts that I've pre-made ready using the heart tutorial, and we're going to interlink them just very simply using the gaps in the heart wire shapes themselves. So I'm going to start with a little one maybe, and I've got a gap with that up there. So I've got a gap just here in the wire, and I'm going to take the other heart and just slide it into the gap, and then you'll see that they're now both connected like that. And I'm going to flip it round. I want a small one on the top, then I want a big one, and then I want a small one. So I'm going to take a small one again. This one has got the gap in the middle, they've all got the gap there in some way, shape or form. So I'm just going to slide I'll do that again flat. So I'm just going to slide the wire through the gap, link it through, and then I've got all 3 together like this. So that's what they look like when they're flat, and then you can lift these up and you can suspend them. Just be careful because the copper wire isn't the strongest. They will move around a little bit as well. The copper wire isn't the strongest wire. Stainless steel tends to be a little bit stronger for doing things like this with as well. So the weight on the top heart is going to be possibly distorting it if it gets too much. But with just 3 or even 4, if I put another one on, that'll be fine. You could probably go to 6 or 7 if you wanted to, depending on the size. So there you go, that's just interlinking them all together without any sort of props. So point 2 is how to connect them together using jump rings. Let's go. These are the jump rings that we're going to be making. You can make them in different sizes, they don't have to be this size, and I'm going to show you a really easy method with a marker pen that you can do them with. That makes the larger size jump rings like these. You can also make them with round nose pliers, but they make a smaller jump ring dependent on the size of your pliers when you do it. But I'll show you using a marker pen. You can use anything that's just a round tube and nice and solid for wrapping the wire around. It's not a problem, but it's just a nice, easy, cheap way of making your jump rings without too much equipment really. I have also got some wire cutters which you will need, and I've got some wire. This is 1mm copper wire, and it's the same wire I used to make the hearts. It's possible if you wanted to, you could make different coloured hearts, and you can make different coloured jump rings with a contrasting wire if you wanted to. This is a 1mm yellow coloured copper wire from the same people that make this one, so it's nice and looks consistent together. So you need a few jump rings. You'll need 1 jump ring for 2 hearts. So I'm going to take my wire, which is here, and my marker pen, and I'm literally just going to, I'm not actually cutting it off the loop, because sometimes it makes it easier if you've got a long strip, and then you don't waste as much either because you can just cut it where you want it. So I'm going to stick my wire on my pen. It's actually going to go on the crease just here where the connection is between the pen and blade. And I'm just going to fold the wire round and down like that, and then I'm going to pull it round and round so that I've got a bit of an overlap here. You can see there's an overlap of the wires, and keep it going a little bit so I've got a bit of overlap. So if I take the pen out, you can see we've got a nice circle there, and we've got an overlap of the wire there as well. Then I'm going to go in my side cutters and pop them in there, and just hold on to, actually it's better, don't just hold on to the loop, hold on to both pieces of the wire when you cut, because things tend to flirt up all over the place, and then you either can't find it afterwards, or it hits you in the eye, which is even worse. So you do need to keep your hand over, hold on to the loop, put your fingers on the wire at the back here to hold it in place, cover it with your hand. Be careful, don't get your fingers in the cutting jaws. So you want to keep your fingers away from the cutting jaws but over the wires, and then snip through and cut your wire like that. So you end up with, pop that over there a second, you end up with a circle that's got some slightly untidy bits on each side. So then you can take your cutters. What I would actually do is just pull that apart slightly so you've got a bit of a gap and you can get your pliers in, and then pop your pliers where it's nice, just to cut that straight end off basically. Unless if you've got a way of folding that over, that's great, you don't need to snip it off, but I just want to neaten it up so it's all completely circular. And then I'm going to cover it without touching it. I'm just going to cover it with my hand and squeeze. That's it. So didn't ping this time, usually does. So I've cut the end off, and that's now nice and flush over like that. But I've also got to do this little end as well. So I'm going to just cut that little end bit off, so like there. I'm going to cover it over with my hand again and squeeze. There we go, that's gone through. And I'm going to put the end little bit of wire over there, and then I'm going to shut these, just push these end bits together again, fold them over. That's it, and then those will come together again like that. And there you are, you've got your jump ring. So I made two earlier, not quite as neat, but they'll do. And you can take one of your hearts, and rather than opening the jump ring and disturbing the wire, all I'm going to do is, you can see the end of the wire here. I'm just going to hook the jump thing through there so that it connects like that. I'm going to move my tools out of the way for a second because I'm done. So I've got a jump ring there holding that one, and then with it's a little bit where you've got the spirals, it's a little bit more complicated. So you can put the end of the wire just here, there, you can put your jump ring over it, and then just fold it round, circle it round until it's out on this edge here, and then you've got two hearts connected together and hanging quite nicely with a jump ring in between them. So that's the first two. Then you can take your second jump ring, and again you can pop it. I'm actually going to pop it on this loop. So I'm going to start in the middle of the spiral and pick it up, that's it. Start in the middle of the spiral, just run it round the spiral, because then I've got it on this side. If I'd have put it on here, it would have gone against here, and I didn't want it there, so I'm going to do that. And then with this one, you see we've got the end of the wire here, just going to loop that into there, and then you can hang it with your jump rings all connected up, and position your hearts how you want them to be positioned. And I might rotate that one like that as well. So there you go. You can, if you want, just leave a jump ring on the top. So if I just pop that last jump ring on the top, you can use that for hanging. So that can become your your hanging jump ring to attach it to the wall. If you want to attach it to the wall, you can use a drawing pin or a small nail, or you can tie it to some fishing line and attach the fishing line to something like a curtain rail, or something I'll show you in a minute when we do the fishing line section, which I thought was a good idea, which I'll be using in the future. But you've got your hook at the top that you can use to attach it and hang it, and you've got all your hearts connected together with nice little dainty loops, which could even be in a contrasting colour for extra artistic impression. So that's how you do the jump rings, nice and straightforward. And the final method that we're going to cover is to use some fishing line or some nylon, clear nylon thread. This is your third method and your final method for this tutorial today on how to hang your hearts. We're going to use a nylon thread. It's clear and it's a monofilament and it's very strong. This one in the black is a fishing line and this one is a jewellery thread. There's not that much difference. I think the fishing line is probably a little bit thicker, but they're both very strong. I'll try and show you the thread. I'm not sure you can see that, but it's between my two thumbs. It disappears, to be honest, doesn't show up very well on camera, and it's nice because then when you hang your hearts, it looks like they're floating without any support, because the monofilament just disappears into the background. So you have your two choices. I'm going to use a bit of the fishing line, just because it's already unravelled a bit. I'm going to need a pair of scissors just to cut off a length that you want, and then it's going to look like I'm just knotting air, but I am actually knotting the fishing line. So just put it through your heart and tie yourself an over under knot, nothing particularly difficult, and a second knot, but I'd go over under twice on this one just to give it an extra bit of security. Then give it a pull, give it a tug, make sure it's knotted. Once you've got your knot in place so that your heart's suspended, you can snip off your tail end, pop that over there, and then you can slide your knot to wherever you want it on your heart. So I'm just going to slide the knot up to there, and you can then suspend it, or if you wanted to, slide it up to the top like that so it suspends like that way. Now these can be attached to wooden dowels, they can be attached to the levers on your windows. Potentially you could attach them to a curtain rail. I wouldn't put too much weight on a curtain rail or a window lever, but these aren't hugely heavy. But one of the best ideas I've found is to use these window stockers. So you can use these on sort of smooth glossy tiles, but also windows and anything glossy that it can stick to. And they've got this hook on them that you can use to, you can either just wrap your fishing line around it and give it a knot, or you can make a loop on your fishing wire, and then you can pop them in the window and hang them. I'm going to spin a bit for me, and then you can hang them in the window and they'll be nice and decorative where they are. Now you can just do one heart like this and lots of different lengths, like this one, which I've just attached to a wooden dowel. So I've done lots of different hearts here, if you can get those there, and one there. I've got, the only problem is if you get them close together, you see here, they start fighting. So you have to be very careful with the spacing that you use. So these, you can see here, there we go, pull that one out of the way. So you can just attach them to a wooden dowel like this one, and then suspend them wherever you want, because you can attach the dowel to whatever you want. Or you can also, that's it, you can also take your one heart that you've got suspended, and you can attach another line underneath here and attach another heart, so that you've got two cascading like that. Rather than side by side, you can actually have them cascading underneath each other. and you can make up lots of strings of those as well, as long as you've got something. Don't forget the wire's a little bit soft and it may deform with the weight hanging off it, so if you put too much on here it might start moving and deforming at the top. But you, like I say, you can get quite a few, so you can make a series of them and different sizes and different shapes. But don't forget also, you can use your hearts, but if you have a look at the butterfly tutorial, you can also do butterflies and hearts all suspended together. You can use you can use the jump ring method with this to connect your butterflies and your hearts together, or you can just do the straight interlinking. So let's just show you that again. So all I've done, the wire ends there, I've just tucked the butterfly in there and he's interlinked into my heart. So you can create cascades of hearts and butterflies, or just hearts, different coloured hearts. You can use the jump rings as well. So there's lots of opportunity there for you to connect them together. You can hang your butterflies, the tutorial will be linked below for that, but you can hang your butterflies with these stickers as well, with the hooks on them, and you can use the fishing line. So your quid's in really, you can do all sorts with them. Anything you make you can hang with these methods. So that's it for today. If you like this video, then do give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe below and click the notification bell next to it as well. And I will see you in the next video, so happy making!